right, folks, for the first time, we will have two black female senators serving at the same time. Now, that's some exciting stuff right there, and let's talk about it. Okay, two states elected black women to the U.S. Senate on Tuesday night, making history for themselves and for the country. Maryland elected Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks, while Delaware elected Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester. Both are Democrats. Their victories double the number of black women ever elected to the U.S. Senate from 2 to 4. Carol Moseley Brown was the first in 1992, while Vice President Kamala Harris became the second in 2016. California Senator LaFonza Butler is the third black woman to serve in the chamber, but she was not elected. She was appointed in October 2023 to finish out the late Senator Dianne Feinstein's term, which ends in January. She is not seeking re-election. In other words, only 3 black women have served in the Senate and never at the same time. That's set to change when Alsobrooks, 53 years old, and Blunt Rochester, 62, are sworn in next year. The two have worked in politics in neighboring states for years. Blunt Rochester is in her 4th term in the U.S. House, while Alsobrooks served as state attorney in Prince George's County before her 2 terms as executive, and didn't cross paths until recently. Political reports the two became close during their Senate races. Blunt Rochester told the outlet that she reached out to Alsobrooks after she won her primary to say, "I'm looking forward to hopefully being your sister, senator to be." Oh, that's so damn sweet. Look at the picture of them two together. They look good. You know what, you guys? We're going to have to do politics different in this country because this is some beautiful shit, and I know we can capitalize on it and make it go somewhere. The two have since referred to each other as their senator sisters and spoken about their shared experiences and motivations when it comes to tackling issues and prescription drug affordability to maternity mortality, which disproportionately impacts black patients. Ooh. The history making part is good, but the impact is what we're all going for. To make a difference in people's lives, Blunt Rochester told Elle in September. The ability to go to the Senate and be one of 100, but also as 2 of only 5 black women senators in the history of this country would be incredible. Okay, folks, we made it through the presidential election. We all still here. Pinch yourself. Make sure you still here. We here. And we about to go into a very interesting part of American history. I think, in my opinion, black people have awakened more than I've ever seen in my lifetime. And the reason I say that is because I see the division in us as black people, in our ideas and what we believe in and who we accept and who we don't accept. Uh, some of us are caught up in the celebrity type lifestyle and celebrity following and worshiping, and then some of us are anti-celebrity and we look at them as wasting our time and leading us nowhere, so it's really weird because I've never seen this before. Now I'm sure prior to me being alive that this is probably been through something like this before. History does repeat itself, but we need to figure this one out because it, we're trying to participate in a government that does not want us to participate in it, where it's going to be a positive experience for black people. They just want us to participate, just to hold us at, like, keep an eye on us, keep us close enough so that the senators and the governors and the mayors and the Congress people down there will keep them informed on what the black population is doing. That's not the way it's supposed to work. That ain't the fucking what politics is about. Politics is supposed to work where the people who we elect to go up there and represent us and don't represent the goddamn enemy. And that's what's been happening. Now, we do need you to have a relationship with them, but it does not need to be a closer relationship than what you have with the people who sent you there. And that's what's been happening. And that's what I think we tired of. Black people just want some goddamn representation. We get so desperate for it. We trying to hook up with other groups. We cannot join with Latinos, not because they're our enemy, but because they have a different plight. They're on a different mission. They have different priorities. And we have to take our on with for once, we have to take ourselves and put ourselves first. We have to take ourselves and protect our children. We have to protect our legacies. We have to protect our lives. Mexicans have pretty much figured it out. They're doing a pretty good job as far as implementing their culture in America, and it's being way more accepted than ours. Ours is accepted, but they have to have control over it. You don't see white people telling Hispanics how to cook their food. You don't see white people getting involved in Hispanic entertainment the way they get involved in black entertainment. We were slaves, and they seem to not get it. Hands off. Slavery is over. You don't own us. Quit implementing yourself into our lives. Quit trying to tell us how we look with our hair this way or that way because it makes you feel better. We have hairstyles that may make you uncomfortable, which is very weird, but it is. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. But you guys should back up off of black people, America. We had a very small percentage of black men that broke off and went and voted for Trump. And anybody can look at numbers and you say, wow, 22 or 24%, I think it was, of black males voted for Trump. That's like nothing. The Democrats get 80%, give or take. It could be a little down or lower, but 80% of the black vote generally. And that ain't enough. They want 100%. And that just lets you know something ain't right there. Something ain't right there when Obama comes out and gets in the face of black men the way he did. And then after pissing black men off the way he did, they still went away with way more than a majority of black male votes. And a lot of black men looking at other black men, oh, how you gonna vote for Trump? How you gonna vote for Jill Stein? How you gonna vote for Cornel West? You need to vote for Kamala. And the truth of the matter is, it's such a waste of breath to argue with a man who is thinking for himself and doing his own thing, whether he's right or wrong, or if it's his idea and his vote, then he's right. Okay. But trying to discourage someone on and question their intelligence or how much they know about politics. You don't know shit about politics. Wow. That's a hard thing to say to somebody. You don't know shit about politics, but the debate or the conversation you were having with them turned out that you were supporting Kamala and telling someone who was supporting Jill Stein or Trump or anybody else, they don't know shit about politics, but your candidate lost. Does your candidate winning mean you know more? No, it doesn't. Look how many people are on MSNBC who know way more about politics than any of us will ever know. But they were wrong. So it ain't about how much you know about politics, how much you know about your goddamn self. You need to know what you will take and what you won't take, not what they'll tell you. They put Kamala Harris up in front of us, you guys, and that was their choice. And thank God that we had our heads about us and we were able to vote that shit down, because if that worked, who knows what they would try next. And they're trying to tell us that the democracy is in jeopardy with Trump. I don't think so. I think we're about to have some adult conversations with Trump. When the Democrats win, you're supposed to get back in the back seat like the kids and shut the fuck up, or go over to the kids' table and eat. You don't get to be at the big boys' table. They tell you what you gonna do. Once you get them in, you don't hear very much of them. And I think I said it in another video, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This was a nothing burger of a administration. I mean, goddamn, y'all, 4 years of fucking nothing. She out of her own mouth conceded and didn't even know it. Oh, Trump's been in control for 10 years. No, 4. You guys got to shut him down. You was empowering that dude and his folks. But now we got 2. Let's get this right. Let's do it different. Let's get our black senators who are Democrat to go over and talk to those black senators who are Republican. If you guys can agree on you being Republican and you being Democrat and participating in this system, in this duopoly, then you should have no problem putting your race above your party like everyone else does. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But everyone else does it except us. No matter who wins or loses, this election isn't as stressful for some people as it is to black people. Do you guys know that most Hispanic men voted for Trump this time? In most cases, a husband and a wife will vote the same. In most cases, they just do. They believe the same, feel the same, they married. In some cases, it is not that common, but they do vote differently. That ain't like that uncommon, but it ain't nothing you see every day. But now our politics are getting to the point where you basically had Kamala Harris and the Democrats telling you to go vote and fuck what your husband say. Just don't tell him. Like, damn, really? Instead of saying sit down and have an intelligent conversation with your husband and tell him what you're gonna go and do, or like women are being beaten into this country. It just seemed like toward the end it got a little crazy. That's why I have hope with new senators going in, with black people waking up and looking at things differently. If you guys were talking to black people who were against the Democratic Party, it wasn't necessarily that they didn't like Kamala Harris. They just don't like the techniques that the Democrats are employing to try to gain power. And as a result of that, all you guys have to do is realize, hey man, it's not personal. And that person who I'm arguing with is in the minority. That person who I'm arguing with is advocating for something that I think black people shouldn't be advocating for. We should be advocating for Kamala Harris. And I'm just telling you guys, it just happened the way it happened, but it doesn't change our opportunity. In California, we were this close to reparations. That got washed because of Kamala Harris. Hell, she's gonna lose the election. She could at least gave us our goddamn reparations in California and left us alone. She had that state, but she was worried that that conversation in California would pour into the rest of the country and make her lose. She lost anyway. We needed our goddamn reparations. I'm gonna say that shit 100 times. We needed our reparations, but folks, let's be hopeful, let's be positive, and let's be involved. Don't just sit back and complain. And if being involved is just voting, educate yourself and then vote. At least know when you vote that nobody's going to come up and shame you, and nobody's going to come up and make you feel bad because they know more than you know. It doesn't mean that they're right, though. It might mean they know more than your ass, though, but that don't mean they right. And don't feel bad about it. Don't feel insecure about it, and stand your ground, and you'll be able to, at the end, not look like an idiot. But along the way, oh my God, I'm betting people during the election. I've never done that before. And then when you bet, folks, and after a debate, you say, I think Trump won. I just thought he wanted the debate. And because I also handicap him because of the network and the help she had. My opinion. But I was arguing with folks over that a little bit. But when it's a bet and it gets to the point where somebody's like, no, she won, you pay them. I get it's beer. Give them their beer, and they won. But then I double backed and I was like, well, let's bet on the election, because I'm figuring we won't have to. That's not like subjective, You don't get to just pick. It's either you win or you lose. On the debate, it was a little shady, and that's the part that tripped me out. Wow, guys, Donald Trump's gonna be our president. We're gonna have two black women in there, nipping at his heels. Hopefully, they'll talk to him. The Congressional Black Caucus is going to have to change its strategy. They got to stop with this only fucking with the Democrats. They're going to have to get off their asses and figure out a way to have a conversation with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to have to be the fucking Republican president who's going to have to open up the negotiation table, and black people are going to have a seat at it. Fuck all that having a seat at tables with that bullshit. We really need to have a seat at some of these tables, and we really need to get this, since they're going to stall us with and it looks like it's going to happen. We're going to be stalled with a investigation on reparations or some kind of study. Fuck it. Get it started. Let's get it cracking. And in that study should be the assassination of Martin Luther King. I feel strongly that is a big part of why we are where we are right now. I don't think we've been voting strategically, and had we continued in the on the path we were heading in the late 60s, we would be voting strategically. Trust and believe, had Martin Luther King lived into the 70s and 80s, we would have things would have been quite different, and that's why he was probably murdered. But hey, there's no need to be accusing people of killing folks. Let's do a study, find out how Martin Luther King got killed. But anyway, folks, let's keep our hopes up. Let's be positive. Let's not be gloom and doom. If you hate Trump, you probably still hate him, but the country is still going to be the country. And if we all say we love the country like we really love the country we say we do, then let's make it a better country to live in. And let's all do our small part. And there's one thing I did want to leave with you guys, because we're going to start leaning into the police and policing in the country, because people who have careers locking up black people are being constantly surrounded by the wrong side of the system, and not the people who are being oppressed within the system and in the prisons. We need black people to all wake up that locking us up and putting us in prison and increasing sentencing isn't doing anything but keeping that 40% of the black men locked up. 40% of the prison population, I'm sorry, being representative of the black population. Then elections come around and they want us to vote. Well, it ain't that goddamn many of us, because most of us are in jail or out of jail and ain't eligible to vote. So we want the same rights. We want to quit seeing women intentionally being, and I have no problem with black women moving up in this world, but it sure seems like black men are intentionally being held back. They need to be recognized and given their fair shot, and not be afraid to put them in the house. As slavery is over, black men can come inside now. And they're not going to rape your women. Everything's going to be okay. We need to move forward, you guys. This is 2024. We're going into 2025. And I think black people need to approach Trump differently. Put him on blast. Y'all call him racist and all this shit. Find out. Fuck around and find out. Congressional Black Caucus, if you can't get a goddamn meeting with the President of the United States, then you need to quit. You need to step down. We got a problem. With that, folks, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.